Yo, should you get a business bank account? And why should you get a business bank account if you're supposed to get a business bank account? I don't know, little buddy. Why should you have a business bank account? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss.
So what's up, guys? This is 𝗏𝗏𝗥𝗏𝗏, and you have reached the 𝗏𝗏𝗥𝗏s e-com channel. If you want to learn how to make money online or offline, then you need to be right here. I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller. I'm also an honorably discharged Air Force veteran. Graduated from Penn State and started a career as a software engineer and leveraged that to build my businesses. If you guys have any questions on how to make money, you're going to find all your answers right here, so stay tuned.
Yo, so what's up, guys? Welcome back to the 𝗏𝗏𝗥𝗏s e-com channel. I'm your host, 𝗏𝗏𝗥𝗏𝗏, aka Rico, and over here, if you're new, we talk all about how to make money online, offline, and everywhere in between. If that sounds good to you, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and click that little notification bell, right? So, for all you regulars, man, before we get into that, make sure you guys check out the links below in the description, because there's tons of free goodies in there for you, including $25 for Novo Banking if you sign up for your business bank account, which is what this video is about. So all you regulars, man, you know what time it is. Let's go ahead, let's get right into it. All right, guys, so why should you get a business bank account? Well, obviously, if you have a business, you should have a business bank account. It just makes sense, right? But not all business bank accounts are created equal. Some are better than others. Some have perks, some don't have perks. Some are boring, some charge you a ton of fees. You know, it just really depends on what you're trying to do. There's certain banks for people who are in the gig economy, who are more entrepreneurship minded. There's more established businesses that go with other big banks. We're going to deep dive into all of that. But one of the biggest things for having a business bank account is the fact you can separate your business and your personal banking information, right? So you don't want to have your business funds and your personal funds mixed up, because when that happens, you tend to spend business money or you spend personal money for your business. It starts messing everything up, starts messing things up for your accountant if you have an accountant, which I highly recommend you should have an accountant, and you should probably have QuickBooks or maybe Xero to help you out. So that way you got all your numbers right. But the main thing is the separation of income, okay? If you're taking business money and counting that as your income, using business income as a personal source of income, now you get taxed at a different rate as opposed to a business rate. Okay, so having separate bank accounts can help your accountant keep you from getting screwed over, because guess what, man? If you're making $300,000 personally, you were boned. They're gonna tax the shit out of you. But if your business is making $300,000 in revenue and you're writing things off, you're not going to pay near as much in taxes, if anything at all, just like the rich folks out there, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to become one of them rich folks, all right? So let's go into why having that separation is really important when it comes to tax time, right? Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
Why would you want one of your clients to have a business bank account as opposed to just a personal bank account if they're running a business?
Why would they have a business bank account rather than use their own for their business? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so why? So let's say, Matt, I have a business.
So can't you write things off as like business expenses?
There we go. All right. Okay. Yo, she's a math major. You're the accountant major. Yo, you were messing up right now.
Because I was a waitress, so they'd be like, "Oh, use this card, use business card."
Yeah, that's simple education.
But you can't do the alcohol on the card.
Yeah, that's no. Right, guys, so having a business bank account, at least in my case, helps me with a lot of write-offs, which goes towards tax deductions, okay? Now, because I do so much when it comes to drop shipping and, mentorship and all that stuff, my sources of income come from all over, so I don't have just one source of income. I mean, I still have my job as a software engineer, but, between Amazon and you guys on YouTube paying and everything else, I have all these different things coming in, and sometimes I don't know what money I should be putting where. Okay, so having a business bank account or multiple business bank accounts for separate businesses isolates everything, and in turn, when my accountant goes in, they can see what's being spent, like here for YouTube, paying my man back there, paying for, the cars, paying for gas if I'm going out meeting someone, maybe dinner if I'm meeting with a client or something along those lines. Having all of that separated makes it so much easier for tax deductions and write-offs, okay? That's what you guys are going to want. Having a business bank account makes it much, much easier for your tax write-offs, period, in the discussion. When you are not keeping track of the money that's coming in from your businesses or your side hustle, you don't necessarily know what you're supposed to be spending and what you can spend, what you can't spend, where it's even coming from half the time. I know plenty of people who, have a side hustle where they don't know where any of their money comes from, really. It's just showing up in their bank account and then they're spending it the same as they would their personal income from their job. And that's not what you're supposed to be doing, because you don't want to get hit over the head when it comes time for taxes, right? Businesses tend to get audited a little bit more than personal accounts, all right? Especially if your business is doing really, really well. All right, Uncle Sam wants his cut, and if you can't give Uncle Sam his cut, you're gonna have a lot of problems, okay? That's why you wanna have a separation so that way you can break it down, or at least your accountant can break it down. Now, my business bank accounts are all synced up through QuickBooks, and it makes it even easier because I can categorize what those expenses are depending on which business bank account. I'm not necessarily gonna have, dinner expenses when it comes to YouTube, not unless I'm going to dinner with somebody and shooting a vlog or something like that. But when it comes to, my automation business and I meet up with a client and we're talking about, how my business can help them, we may have dinner, or like, let's say I take a trip, like with my other bit with, just Roughnex Ecom in general, I host masterminds. Okay, well, that money has to come from somewhere. It's not coming from my personal account, it's coming from one of my businesses. And that way it gets labeled as a expense, like, I wouldn't say necessarily meals and entertainment, but that's the closest thing that it would go to. So if I spend $10,000 on a weekend for you guys to come hang out and learn from me and my friends, guess what? That is a write-off to a certain extent, okay? So hopefully that broke it down a little bit. Now we're gonna talk about not all business bank accounts being created equal and why. All right, so I have a business and I effectively want to pull a Donald Trump. I don't want to pay taxes, but all I have is a personal bank account. So how do I go about that? What should I do in that case?
So
what should I do?
You're saying you don't want to pay taxes?
I'm not saying I don't want to pay taxes. I love paying taxes. I'm a veteran. I like paying taxes. But let's say I wanted the Donald Trump special and I did not want to pay as much in taxes. What should I do? Let's say I'm making $100,000 with my little side hustle. How do I stop paying so much in taxes? Because I'm doing my side hustle, but I'm bringing in all this income and I'm getting taxed personally. How do I handle this?
Well, wouldn't you? Yeah, like, can't you say you donate it to charities and stuff?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But what's a better way of doing it?
Actually donate to the charity.
I'm not trying to donate everything.
Okay.
I'm not trying to donate all my money. Now, I have 3 separate banking institutions that I bank with when it comes to my business bank accounts, okay? Bank of America, Navy Federal, and Novo Bank, which we're gonna talk about because they're actually probably the best bank for people who are just getting started with a side hustle, getting in a gig economy or some form of entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to drop shipping, okay? We're gonna talk about why. Now, each of those banks have separate fees. Sometimes they don't charge fees. They have different perks. They have all that. Now, Bank of America is probably the one I like the least. But at the time, I had a bank account with Bank of America, and I decided to jump on board with them. Now, at the time, they had some decent perks when I got on, and it was like no fees when it came to like wire transfers and stuff like that, and I was doing a lot of getting a lot of transfers come in and all this stuff, and then they also were giving back fees for like when you were going to ATMs outside of that, and I'm like, all right, this is perfect. But as it's come along, like those perks no longer exist, and they're just not necessarily fun. But they're a big banking institution, and they have some decent credit card offers. And at the time, I'm like, all right, I had a Capital One Spark card, and I'm like, I need to, grow my credit card repertoire out because I'm drop shipping and I need more capital. So banking with them made it easier to get a credit card with them, all right? Not necessarily something that I really wanted at the time, banking with them, but it really didn't help because they're a large bank. Navy Federal, guys. Navy Federal, I absolutely love Navy Federal because I'm a veteran. If you guys didn't know, I served in the Air Force. But Navy Federal, I bank with them for a lot of my bigger business banking needs, not just because they're a great business bank and they have a lot of perks, mainly because they do a lot of things when it comes to veterans, and having a credit union makes it easier to get finance for certain things, like homes, cars, taking lines of credit, things like that, just on a personal side. So it just makes sense that I would bank with them, personally and on the business side, and those perks kind of mesh together because my, personal, credit cards, whether I have like a $20,000, $30,000 limit, they can see that. They see the money that's coming in not only from my job and my personal account, and some of the money that I end up like transferring out as like a payment to myself, but they see that credit and they're like, oh wow, okay, so this guy has $20,000, $30,000 credit cards with us on the personal side, and he has, X amount of things financed, whatever. We can go ahead and extend more business credit to him and not necessarily deep dive into like, the whole credit side and all that stuff, just because I already bank with them. And their business credit cards also give really, really nice perks. They have a MasterCard and a Visa. They give a lot of rewards. I'm actually looking to get, cash in on my rewards points. I was looking at it the other day. I might take my kids camping. So they have all types of camping equipment that you can jump on board with. just everything, pots and pans, all types of crazy stuff. I don't even really know all the stuff because I didn't take a thorough look, but I did notice they had camping supplies. My oldest daughter was like, Dad, we need to be having picnics and camping, so maybe that's something that we'll do this summer. But they're a really, really great institution for veterans like myself, who may want to use like the VA home loan or something along those lines, in the future. And then there is Novo Bank, which is one of the newer banks that I bank with, but they're really good, for the ease of startup. Okay, I've never had a business bank like spin up an account in a matter of like a day or so, just without any crazy paperwork or any of that. Like with Bank of America, I had to give them all this crazy paperwork. With Navy Federal, same thing. It's kind of a pain. But with Novo, I didn't have to. No, it was so quick to sign up, guys. Like you sign up in maybe 5-10 minutes. Like if you don't have an LLC, you just have an EIN, or you're in the gig economy using your social, you can have your account spun up in like a day. It's that quick, like no lie. Like the whole process to get on took like 5 minutes, guys. Like, whereas, signing up with like Bank of America and all this and printing all these documents and faxing it, like it's kind of a pain in the ass. Novo made it so easy, so easy. Like I highly recommend it. And a lot of their integrations are fantastic. Okay, especially for people like me, or if you have a course or you accept Stripe or something like that, we're gonna deep dive into that, why Novo is really good for people who are getting into things, along the lines of entrepreneurship or, digital courses or drop shipping or anything like that. Just trust me, it's gonna be a good one.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm getting a little nervous about the whole Corona thing. Can you back up just a little?
Oh my God. All right, we got to social distance, guys. We got to be smart about that. Like, why don't you go get an EIN, set yourself up as maybe a sole prop, open your business bank account, have your accountant, like yourself, start separating things and start looking at your expenses, so that way you can have more write-offs, return, you won't have to pay near as much in taxes.
Yeah.
Or you can pay yourself a salary.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. You can write things off as like charity donations.
You could.
But like other things, I don't know what the other options are. All I know is charity.
Yeah, charity is good, but you can also write things off as business expenses.
Well, yeah, like you can you say, okay.
Your mower equipment, if you have a lawnmower or a chainsaw, or
I'm just thinking about like when businesses, like if you're a pizza shop, I know like places like would be cash only, so that way they could like say that certain things were like costing them less. Exactly, so that way they're getting like people get in trouble for that, obviously. So I don't know the legal way.
I don't know if they get in trouble for that. I'm not saying.
I don't know anything.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Including you, Miss Social Distancing.
Thank you.
Guys, so like I was saying with Novo, all right, they have fantastic perks, especially if you're just starting off. Okay, so for me, I use Stripe for a lot of my payment processing. When people are on Shopify, you guys are more than likely using Stripe or you're using PayPal. They have native Stripe integration with Novo. So you can see your Stripe account without having to jump into the Stripe account. But that's not even the best part. The best part is you get $20,000 fee free, right? So that means you can take $20,000 in payments through your Stripe account and pay no fees on them. That's a massive savings, right? I hate paying fees on my money, okay? Stripe fees, like granted, they're not the most expensive fees, but they're still fees, and I don't necessarily like fees like that, okay? So you get up to $20,000 fee free. That's pretty cool in my book. Also, there's no fees for wire transfers. If you use their debit card, you get all those ATM fees back. So if I go across the street over here on Temple and I go to the ATM, guess what? I'm getting that $3 back. See what I'm saying? It's pretty good. You know, you can do checking through the app. You know, so if someone writes you a check, like let's say, you know, my man over here is you know, shooting some content. He's like, yo, I need payment. I write him a check, and he can scan it, toss it, you know, right into his bank account right through the app. It's pretty dope. There's also other perks like Salesforce. You get a free membership to Salesforce. I think it's like 6 months or something like that, to any level on Salesforce. $3,000 worth of Google Cloud perks. So if you sign up for Google Cloud, now I know a lot of people aren't going to be using Google Cloud services, but if you do, guess what? You get Google Cloud, what, $3,000 worth of Google Cloud service, which is actually a lot now that I think about it. You know, it natively integrates with Slack, so you get updates, you know, for your deposits and transactions. Like, that's actually pretty cool because I use Slack when I'm talking to, you know, team members and stuff like that. There's just so many cool things with Novo being such a young bank and geared towards like the gig economy and entrepreneurs like myself. Like, Bank of America isn't necessarily geared towards entrepreneurs like myself or even you. You know, they're so big now, they don't necessarily care about the little guy. Whereas Novo is built on the little guy. So that's why I signed up, you know, with them. And that's why I enjoy using their bank. All right, so guys, you get 25 bucks for free if you sign up. All you gotta do is sign up. You get 25 bucks, okay? Go below, click the link below, man. Get the hookup. So with that being said, man, hopefully you found this informative, guys. Hopefully you go out there, set yourselves up with a business bank account. If you're doing some form of side hustle or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. Guys, you should probably have a business bank account to separate those funds, so that way you're not getting clubbed over the head, you know, and you can get yourself the Donald J. Trump special, because that's what I'm working on. All right, so be safe, be smart. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.